Thank you very much for tuning in. We are streaming 100% live on YouTube, and today I am continuing my series of noob tutorials on AUM. Let me just launch my chat over here and make sure that's working. Evening Paul, evening Grant, thank you very much for joining me. Now, it occurred to me that I kind of went about things maybe slightly the wrong way. I did a live stream on AUM where I kind of just give a kind of an overview of it, very roughly, and then I did one where I was showing you how to use AUM as a substitute digital audio workstation. Hi Samuel, thanks for being here, mate. But what I should have done before I did that was to do a live stream where I was jamming with no timeline, because for most people that's what they do with AUM before they start thinking, what if I had a timeline? What if I had some kind of setup that allowed me to use AUM kind of like a digital audio workstation? So I'm kind of going to go back. Let's pretend that I've not done number 2 yet, and this is number 2, and number 2 will be number 3. Okay, so what I have here, I've set up a project, and all I've got is 9 channels. So my plan is, and you know what they say about plans, right? I've got 8 empty channels here, potentially for instruments, and then I've got a MIDI channel here, and then here I've got channel number 9, which is for my microphone, right? And I've got it all mapped to this Korg Nano control, which is the original one, the one that has 9 faders for some odd reason instead of 8. So I thought, you know what, I'll have number 9 for my gob, right? So I can mute myself while I'm speaking, and I've got a mute button for every channel and a solo button for every channel and a fader. And if I just demonstrate here, see, they all work even though there's no instruments on them. Of course, the MIDI channel, because this channel is for things that generate MIDI notes, there's no fader here. I had a couple of questions about that this week. There's no fader because MIDI, things that are purely MIDI software, don't generate any audio. They just generate MIDI notes to send to audio instruments. So, hey Greg, thanks for joining us, man. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to instrument number 1. Oh, and yeah, I meant to mention, because I've always used my MIDI channel on the far left. I like it over here. It just feels tidy to me. The MIDI generators over here sending MIDI information over to the instruments. But the reason I've put it over here is because when I make a channel, it comes up as channel 1. But if I put the MIDI channel over there, that's channel 1, and channel 1 becomes channel 2, which is confusing when you are mapping a controller like this to it. So I look at the number at the bottom and I go for that number fader, and it's the wrong one, right? So that's why I've done that, and I'm trying to get used to this new way of working. Hi Joe, hi Johan, thank you very much for being here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with an instrument, and I'm going to just throw a synth in here that I like. So let's just grab a synth. There, I like that one. Okay, and then what I need is a MIDI generator to send some notes to it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of the ones from the Rosetta suite, because the Rosetta suite ones are really useful for little jams. You'll see what I mean as I go along. There's a situation where you've not got something like Helium or Multitrack or LK or Atom giving you that feel that you have an actual timeline within AUM. So I'm going to grab, and why can't I see it? It's obviously there. Why can I not see it? Collider, there we are. All right, so what I need to do is to tell this synth that it's going to receive some information from Collider on MIDI channel 1. Now if I go over to Collider, if anyone's not seen it, I'm not going to go deep into any of these apps today. I'm just going to kind of give you an overview of things. So I'll open up Collider and we'll press play. Right, now I'm just going to remember to use my controller and just bring the volume down on that instrument a little bit. Right, so you'll see what we've got is some balls bouncing around a grid, and they make a sound when they hit something or when they hit each other. And there are various things that we can change within the app to generate different notage. Before I do that, I'm going to change the sound and get a sound that's a bit more agreeable. So I've accidentally pressed something. There we go. Right, so let's just, the thing I love about this synth is it has so many amazing presets. You could just sit hours and hours and hours just going through them all. I've been listening to them just to find which ones are your favourite ones, and then get nothing done because you've wasted 8 hours just listening to sounds, and then you forgot which were your favourites anyway. So does anyone relate to that? Something like that, something a bit simpler. Okay, well, I'm just going to change the sound of this a little bit. Where's my unison button? There we go. And let's spread it. There we are. I like that. Yeah, okay, I dig that sound. Right, okay, so now let's go back to Collider, and I'll show you some of the things we can do in here. First of all, let's select a key. Now, I'm a guitar player mainly, you know, guitar and bass, things with strings, so I naturally love the key of E minor. Now we can pitch this up. We can change the velocity of the notes, and we can alter the grid size and the amount of hadrons, little balls in other words, that are running around in there. We've got clock divisions so that we can change the speed, and we can also gate the notes. Maybe I like that as well. We can also add collision sounds so that when they hit each other it generates extra notes. Right, okay, that might be a bit much, but it's just to kind of demonstrate. So let's lose some balls. And maybe make it move more slowly, I think. I think the grid might be a bit big, actually. Right, now, if you feel that it's kind of got stuck and it's maybe just going round and round the same thing and you want it to change, you can give it a nudge along. See what happens to the balls when I do that? Or you can generate a new set of balls. Which I think is pretty cool. Right, now I'm going to throw on some effects here, and this might be a bit predictable because God knows I use it all the time now, but I'm going to throw on Spatializer, and you will just have heard exactly why. I think maybe stage, and then let's also grab a nice yes they are Samuel, yes, very very handy useful tools. They are great for, I'm turning down the wrong fader. Remember to use my controller though. They're fantastic for sort of jamming some ideas around. And you know what you can do as well is, if you end up with something in AUM that's kind of like a modular jam, you know, you've not got an arrangement or anything, it's just kind of a maybe 8 bars, 16 bars or something that just kind of goes round and round. There's no reason why you couldn't export that, you know, export all your stems as real audio. You could drop that into a digital audio workstation. You could maybe then continue and maybe change the key of what you're doing perhaps, or move it over a different chord, that sort of thing, make a different pattern and do the same thing with that and arrange it all in a DAW. You know, there's options. One of the things I really like about iOS is it is very very easy to move things around from one host to another. Right, let's have some Lunar Lander on this. Pull the volume back up a bit. Bigger plate size. And I want more. Give me more reverb. Turn the Bucket Brigade emulation all the way up, and I think we'll have a bit more in the way of, yes, a bit more in the way of delays. Okay. Alright, he said, remembering to stop his project with his controller and return it to 0. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw another instrument on. So yes, Grant, particles is great, and that's what I'm going to use now. I'm going to go over here to my, if anyone's not used this facility in AUM before, if you want another MIDI note generator type of app, just double tap onto the other one and go in and grab the one you want. Now the first thing I have to remember to do when I get particles is go into it and change the MIDI channel to channel 2, because by default it's on channel 1, and if I don't change that, it's going to send that information down channel 1, which is what this app is receiving, OBXD. We want it to come here to I'm going to use TAL. TAL and OBXT sound, to me, they sound wonderful alongside each other. Now I can never remember where TAL is, and I ought to. It's easy. It's under T. So right. So now I go to bigger icon next to TAL. We want to listen to particles. Switch off all the notes and put MIDI channel 2 on. It's already doing something. Did I... let's just mute off channel 1 for a moment while we get this one going. Right then, particles. Alright, so as you can see, it is a similar kind of thing to Collider. It's the same sort of thing. You've got a bunch of balls in a square, and as they move from side to side, when they hit the wall, they make a sound. So first thing we ought to do is make it the same key as the other one, right? That would be a good idea. And we can do stuff like add more balls by turning up the density. We can change the pitch. Make a move faster. And if I turn up the spread, it spreads out the notes. So like all the way down, they're all playing an E, spread them out across the frequency range. And then we have more control over velocity range and the range of the notes here, and the now what does that mean to quantize them, I wonder? I never really thought about that button. Okay. And then of course, just like in Collider, we can gate the note. I'm not sure I want that set, but I don't want that sound, I know that. So let's go into Tal and find a sound. What am I thinking? No, I'm not thinking that one. No, I don't want that bank. Let's try again. Sound effects. The quantize is important when you up the speed slide. Ah, yes, right, of course, Samuel. Thank you. You are always the man who knows. You know what, Samuel? Of all the people I've encountered since I've been doing this iOS music thing, you are like the ultimate mind of information. You should have a channel yourself, or like a sort of a, or maybe like your own sort of forum somewhere, you know. You should call it Ask Samuel, the man who knows the answer to all those niggly little questions. We don't want this sound either. I'm just listening to it because I think it sounds cool. Oh, now wait a minute, that could be quite cool. But there's like a, when the note initially kicks in, it's kind of, it's making, let's lessen the attack, see if we can smooth it out, make it a smoother. Right, okay, now I want these notes to be higher. Okay, let's pitch these up. Right, now, some delay. Sync that delay. And bring in some reverb. Bring the tone up of both. Brighten it up a little bit. let's unmute the first one. I press solo. Stupid hippie moment. It sounds like something. I think Particles is just going to carry on forever. So is there a reason why Particles is continuing and Collide is finishing? I'm not. Oh, use host transport. Yes, now it will. Right, unmute that channel. And now it will. Oh, maybe I should take the gate down on this. Let's have a listen. So now, remembering to use the controller. Yes, that was it. Okay, now. I'm not catching all of the chat. There's no way I can kind of do this and catch all of the chat, and it's great to see people in the chat getting involved. Thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it. But I've seen mention of a couple of synths. Poison 202. I think he's great because it's very versatile. You get a whole bunch of presets with it, and you get a wonderful array of many sounds. I definitely recommend it from that point of view, and it's a very nicely made app too. Runs very smoothly. I've never had any problems with Poison 202. Is Tal worth buying? Well, yes. I mean, I tend to go on at length about Tal, so I'll try not to witter too much, but basically, in my very first band, the very first proper synth that the keyboard player got was a Juno, and I have very fond memories of it. I absolutely loved the sound of it, and I kind of always wanted to get one myself, but synths take up so much room, and they're expensive to get hold of now. So when Tal came out, I was very excited to try it, and I think it's wonderful. It really is absolutely wonderful. I'm a big fan. I use it loads and loads. If you want to make some 80s sounds, it's incredible. And they have added, one of the updates was they added delay and reverb to it, which of course the Juno didn't have. But I mean, what does it matter? If it sounds great, it sounds great. It doesn't matter. And they are great. The delay and reverb have really added something to it for me. So yes, I highly recommend both. I'm particularly passionate about Tal. All right, so we've got two instruments, and now we need some bass. So let's grab Troublemaker. Troublemaker modded, and now Troublemaker, we don't need to send any MIDI to it. You can send MIDI to it, but it will generate its own little patterns. So let's just go into, in fact, I'm going to just mute those two off, go into Troublemaker, and actually what am I saying? No, it won't generate its own patterns. I'm talking absolute twaddle. I'm talking about a totally different app. Forgive me. I'm going to double click here, and I'm going to grab another app from the Rosetta suite. We're going to get Rosetta Baseline, and I'm going to change this to MIDI channel 3. So far I'm doing very well remembering to change my MIDI channels. It won't last. Burger icon, listen to Rosetta Baseline, MIDI channel 3. Okay, so now if I go to Baseline, Now, I'm until recently, I never ever really used generative stuff. I never kind of was interested in that at all, because I always kind of have lots of ideas about music I want to make, but I've used it quite a lot in Baseline, and a few other apps recently. It's kind of switched me onto it, and I've enjoyed it. So, and that's all that really matters. So I'm gonna go to here, and I'm going to, no, I'm not going here. Where am I going? I'm going here to the dice icon, and I'm going to select E minor, and let's generate a random pattern. And let's have a listen to it, remembering to use the controller. Alright, might not be my favourite pattern I've ever heard. Let's just come out of there, and we'll go to I kind of like that. Kind of wish I'd selected to have more steps. Right, now I wish it was lower, so let's go here and shift bass note down an octave. And then we'll go to treble maker and have a bit of a fiddle around with it. Let's add some delay. Alright, let's see what that sounds like alongside the other instruments we have. So it's a bit crackers, but I'm enjoying it. I kind of like it. So you know what we need? We need some drums. Let's have some drums. Yes, Samuel. Yeah, I always end up doing that. In fact, you know what? I could just do that now because I'm going to end up doing it. So I'm going to... Yes, I'm going to grab Rosetta LFO. Now, Samuel, which would you say is the best parameter to move around in Treble Maker? Well, I just kind of find it. There we are. Right, LFO. Switch 2 off. We've just got the one going, and this is where I wish in AUM there was a button I could press where the whole screen would kind of go small and I could see all of the faders on it, just so that I could do things like just check what I've got muted, what I've got soloed, you know, that kind of thing. Just quickly have a look. It'd be nice, of course, if it lit up on this controller when you've muted things, but they're really cheap. And this one I got for a very small amount of money. It was like, but not much over a tenner. Okay, so So what I need to do now, I've got my LFO here, right? And I've just got one running right now. And if I go over to Troublemaker, and then I go to the icon that looks like a set of faders, and then I just select a parameter that I want to... Did I change the MIDI? We'll soon find out. Yeah, let's check it. So I should be on the same MIDI channel as the bass, right? So I go to the little icon with the faders, and then I select a parameter that I want to read the LFO. Press learn, press play, and I just accidentally cut off. Press learn, and then right, now it's telling me I've obviously made an error here, because I've got a little exclamation mark. Oh, I know what I've done. I totally forgot to do something. So let's just delete that off. Right, I have to go up here, and I have to tell Troublemaker to listen to the LFO, right? Then I should be able to select cut off and go learn and press play, and I keep messing that up. I'm going to use my controller for that. Here we are. Right, and now I can go to my LFO, and I can change the rate that it moves. Let's tempo sync it. There we go. Right, so now you can hear that cut off. So let me just open that up so you can see what's going on. Right, so you can see the LFO slowly moving the cutoff, which is pretty... Oh, Doug's here. All right, dude. Thanks for joining us, and thank you for your help. And thank you, by the way, everybody who has really pulled out all the stops. Let me just stop this. Yes, I should just say that. Thank you, everyone who's just recently helped me in the last couple of days, pulling out all the stops to get me those extra views, so that I went over the 4,000 hours required to get monetized on YouTube. I just was like 9 hours short or something like that, and I just asked everyone to give me a bit of a boost, and I smashed it one day by I can't remember the figure, but it's like over 250 hours or something like that. So thank you ever so much, everybody who joined in and did that. Right, so we have this mad jam. Pressing all the wrong buttons. So it's a bit insane, but you know, I'm enjoying myself. So let's get some drums. I'm gonna use an app that I don't use anything like enough. Let's use Roosemaker FM, and we'll use another Rosetta Suite thingamabob to send some drums to it. So if you're looking at this and thinking if you're sort of asking the question about Rosetta, like, well, you know, what is it? If you've not got it, it's a suite of apps, right? So you've got a few note generators, and you've got cells which can loop chords around and stuff. You've got your LFO, which I just used, and there's a scaler in there. I don't think I've ever opened that one. And there's a couple of different apps really suitable for generating drum stuff, like this one I'm going to use. There's also one that's a Euclidean type note generator. So we want to be on MIDI channel 4, and we'll just tell Roosemaker FM that as well. Okay, and maybe mute off our other instruments and get some drums going. I'm going to do the totally obvious thing first, I think. We'll just throw in 4 kicks. Yeah. All right, and you know what? I'm kind of feeling that this track should be a little bit slower. So I'm just going to move the tempo in the host a little. All right, let's unmute some stuff. So one way in which Rosetta XOX will help you to set up an interesting jam that has more than one section without having a timeline or anything is that you can store 8 different loops in it, and you can make them move from one to the other. It's kind of difficult to explain without showing you, so I'll show you. So what I've done is I've set up this 1 bar of kick, which is currently just looping around, because up here we have this set to manual change. These numbers 1 to 8 are where we can store other drum patterns, and it won't change the next one unless I do it manually. So what I'm going to do is change this, go to next pattern after 8 loops, and then I'm going to copy this. It's only got a kick in it, but just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to copy my 4 kicks, go to pattern 2, paste it in there, and then let's put some hats in or something. What number is the hat in FM? I think it's 5. There we are. Because in FM there are only 6 instruments. Oh yeah, that's actually something I ought to point out. Okay, so in Rosetta XOX, right, there are mappings for different drum machines, right? Because why all drum machines can't just be general MIDI, I don't know. I mean, why is it would be so helpful if they were? Why are they not? It's just upsetting. But Bram has put mappings in for different popular drum machines and stuff, and in actual fact, Bram's apps are not general MIDI, although some of them do have, maybe all of them have a general MIDI button, which I always press. Except when I'm using this, it's mapped for Roosemaker anyway, so might as well just use that. So pattern 2, let's throw in some hats. So that will be the 5th instrument along. So 3, 4, 5. I'm feeling a... Oh, it's moved on to the next one. Go back. Wait a minute. I don't want that. I'll set it to manual changer, then it won't. Why is it not just... Why will it not just play 2 when I press 2? Why is it not doing that? Come on, I want to sort my hats out. Alright, let's lose that one and we'll change that one for, I think open hat is there. Alright, okay. I'm finally happy with that. And so now I'm going to copy this one, move over to pattern 3, paste it in here. Wait a minute, go to pattern 2. Make that one go to next after 8 loops, and now in pattern 3 I'm just going to leave that manual change so that that one just goes round and round for a while, and we'll throw some snares in. I'm not hearing a snare. And if you press on where you've put one of your drums in, if you press on it for a second time, you get a bigger white dot, and that means louder drum note. Right, I want to change that sound. That's not working for me. Wrong app. There we go. Right, so all we need to do to change the sound in Rusmaker FM is, if I play it, then these controls on this line here, these are unique to that drum. Press that one, and now they're unique to that drum. So let's just change the sound of this one a little. I just want it to have more, really. I just want more. Ooh, there's reverb there. Nice. Ah, there we are. Make it sound more snarey. Saturate it up. It's gone back to start, hasn't it? Let's find out if I can make that flick over. Well, it'll get there in a minute. Let's have a listen to some other instruments. Now the same process. Oh, there we are. Pan it across a bit. Now let's pan that hat. like my hats, my closed hat and my open hat, to be on the same side. I know a lot of kind of dance producers split them up left and right, but I like them on the same side, because if you were playing drums, they would be on one side. That's how my brain works. Maybe let's just... yeah, okay. Right. Why is that upsetting? That seems to have upset it. Just put that back where it was. I seem to have broken OBXT. Seems to have broken that sound. What's going on there? Okay, I've proper upset it. I don't know what I've done. Does it make any sense? Let's go back to the sound that I had. There has to be a logical explanation for this, surely. Right, that was a sound. I'm getting nothing. Right MIDI channel. MIDI coming from Collider. Collider's still doing its thing. Okay, press generate. let's keep them both in the same key, eh? That's a good plan. Okay. Okay, so what I was doing there when everything went wrong was, I thought, you know, maybe these sounds I'm sending to OBXT, maybe better if this was all like an octave higher. So I went here to the burger icon and I went to the bottom and I pressed transpose like 12 times, or I was going to press it 12 times, but as I did it, it kind of, the sound disappeared, and I was pissy panting around trying to figure out where it had gone, and all I had to do in the end to get it to work again was in Collider just generate a new set of balls, man, and and it started working again. So I don't know. Right, okay, so let's see, where are we with time? We've only got a few minutes left, so let's see what we could throw on here. Maybe we could, what would I use here? Thinking. Right, so another app that does this kind of random generative note thingy-mabob, this time not one of Brand's, is Snakebud, which I'm going to connect to an instance of DRC because I'm not massively happy with what I've got with OBXT. I think that's the weakest thing. It's me. I'm just not making it happen. So let's find Imaginando, DRC. Okay, and then I will mute these instruments off for a moment, and DRC receiving from Snakebud on MIDI channel. What is it now? It must be 5. Oops. And then in Snakebud we need to set the MIDI channel in here to number 5, and let's straight away go to E and make it minor. There we go. Right, so if I press play, yeah, if I turn it down a little bit first, and then we'll press play. Yeah, I obviously didn't mute that one properly. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to randomize all. Don't like that? That's rubbish. Right, okay, so we've got, you know, some bizarreness, and then we go to DRC and we select a sound, and there are some wonderful sounds. Well, there's just so many great sounds in DRC. Go here, go to Constellations maybe, and we'll go with something. Kind of like that, actually. Okay, so I hope hope that was kind of interesting, and I hope that maybe, you know, if you've never done this kind of thing in AUM, I hope that I've successfully shown you how you can get going with it. And if you have any questions about it, by all means contact me, comment below the video or message me on whatever platform you like. You're very, very welcome to get in touch, and I will answer your questions, no problem. As far as this jam that I've done today goes, I'm not massively happy with all of it. I've come up with a couple of things that I really like, and that's what's really, really important, I suppose. I mean, jamming around in AUM like this with no real massive plan, you know, it's that is how we come up with stuff and discover it. So, like, for instance, I really, really like what I've got going on with Tal, and maybe not 100% on the bass line, but of course once you generated a bass line, you can then go in and adjust it to your own taste slightly. You know, if it's kind of nearly there, it's very, very easy to do. I like how my drums sound, so let's just we'll mute that one off, and I'm going to bring the fader down on this, maybe take the bass off for now, liking my drums and what's happening in DRC. So if I was to say take the fader down on that as well, right, and then I press play, right, and then I can fade in what's happening with Tal. Maybe drop the bass in. Would have been good if I'd done it in time with when the pattern changed on the drums, but never mind. And then fade in that DRC sound. And then maybe for a bit of variety, I could drop out DLC and drop in OBXD. Okay, it's not awesome or amazing, but it's the beginning of something. It'll probably turn into a bit of something later on. So thank you very, very much for joining me. Once again, thank you for helping me get over 4,000 hours of view time on YouTube. Thanks very much for being here, and thanks for all your support. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and make lots of music. Take care of yourselves and be good, and don't piss your pants about. I will see you all later. Bye bye.